All right. I'm gonna also use camera. This is the first time I'm gonna use camera. And the first time I will have used camera in like a few years. So it's hey everyone. So I'm one of the lead developers on That's Gambit. And yeah, I'm John. And I'll just be answering questions today on behalf of the team. Hope I do a good job. And thanks for playing That's Gambit. So I think we have a few questions already. So I'll get through those. Let's see. Let's just get started from the top. I mean, the first question is obviously a release date question, and I can't really answer that. And so I'll just open up by saying that I can't answer any release date questions. What I can say is what we have said before. 2021 is the goal. I'm gonna lower the music; it's a little bit loud, I think, or maybe it's just on my end. I'm gonna lower it on my end because then I can't even hear myself. Yeah, 2021 is the goal, and we will be releasing on Switch, then PC, then PS4, about a month apart from each other. At least that's the goal. And just from that knowledge alone, you can kind of connect the dots and assume a window of which would likely, be looking to release this thing, but we'll see. I can't really answer stuff like that, or my publisher and other people would get frustrated with me because you usually want to announce stuff like that and something bigger than this. Anyways, let's move on. First two questions: is Xbox port a possibility in the future? And second, would be if the DLC is successful, is there a possibility for updates to make modding the game easier? They take effort. We can't answer anything as to what happens after this expansion, sadly. But my goal is to update the game past release. And I'm very excited about that. So I can't really say much more on that. Is Xbox port a possibility? Can't answer that sadly either. But yeah, we're looking to port the game to Switch, PS4, PC, and hopefully we can do more in the future. Have you ever thought of implementing an invasion mechanic multiplayer? Yes. I think at the beginning we originally planned on having online mechanics, but we couldn't really do too much with it. We were kind of limited to game makers' abilities to do good multiplayer, but also we just didn't have enough budget to do an insane multiplayer, combat. But we did try for a while was having like a note system. And I know at a certain point, the goal was to have the sniper bosses' gravestones be people's notes. But that didn't pan out. We decided not to do multiplayer. It is more of a Metroidvania style, just, Castlevania, Hollow Knight inspired game, I guess. Obviously very Dark Souls and Sekiro inspired at this point too. We get to spend more time with Death or any other NPCs. Yes. Yeah. I mean, if you watch the trailer, you'll see that Death comes back as a character, and a lot of the older NPCs come back. I think a lot of the times, I think for this expansion, we really wanted to elaborate on a lot of characters that people loved, and also just kind of clear up a few things. I think a lot of fans were kind of confused as to what Thalamus and Death's intentions were, and I think our goal was to be very vague about it, but I think people really got things wrong overall, and I think that's partly our fault. So I think we're going to clear things up, and we're going to answer a lot of questions, and probably bring up a lot more questions too in the process. And there's a few other characters that are getting a lot of love. I think Ione and Vrel are some of them. We felt that their stories kind of needed a little bit more they just need to be expanded and they needed to be touched on a little bit more. So you'll get to know about them a little bit more. You'll get to know more about Endless as well, and a few other new characters. I know we've shown Wraith King, one of the bosses in the trailer, who is the original king of Ceridon. So there's a lot of cool stuff. There's a lot of cool lore that we're going to go into, and I think we've mentioned this on tweets before, but the story content in this game is actually almost more than the original game. I think we have over an hour of cutscenes. It's kind of ridiculous. We didn't even. It was not the intention, but I think as we were finishing off the story, we wanted to do it justice, and we had to clear up a lot of loose ends, and that required a lot of cutscene time, I guess. So, yeah, look forward to that. And so, will the game be available for PS4? Yes, it will be. Again, Switch is coming first, then PC, then PS4. It's going to be a staggered release. You know, I've talked with many other games. Sorry, the microphone almost fell. I've talked with a lot of other game developers, and they've all basically suggested that we do a staggered release because we're a very small team. So that way we'll be able to handle bugs at a more timely fashion and make sure that every release is stable, or at least as stable as possible. So yeah, I will say at this point, the game is very stable on our end. And we're very happy with where the game is at. We're excited for everyone to finally play it. Will we still get flashbacks when Soren dies? Yes, you will. And we've prepared more. We've prepared a lot more things for Death to say when you die. I think the original game, I think Death said things up until like your 35th death, and now they go up. You know, they keep going for a very, very long time. If you keep dying, you'll keep hearing new voiceovers. So look forward to that as well. How's the team holding up this close to reaching a WND? I don't know what WND means, but I guess you mean release. How's the team holding up close to reaching the end? We're holding up fine. I won't lie. I mean, at this point, I'm just like very anxious. I just want the game to be, out there and in your hands. But it's not. It hasn't happened yet. So I'll leave it there. But yeah, I'm just feeling like I want this game in your hands. That's how I feel. It's just anxious. I'm not really, nervous about the quality of the game. I'm pretty happy with where it is. And I'm just excited. I'm just excited about it. I just can't wait, really. Let's see. Can you date death in Afterlife? I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you cannot date death in Afterlife. But there's some silly new cutscenes with death. Hopefully that tweet about who would you romance didn't make you all think that this is suddenly going to become a 100%, just a dating sim. As much as I wish it was. Who did the portraits for the characters in the DLC and in the base game? That would be Max Zhang. He's absolutely an absolutely amazing artist. He did the poster arts for Death's Gambit Afterlife, and he works at Riot Games, and he's a friend of ours from USC. So yeah, amazing stuff. Just knowing, let's see, just reading a little bit more. Just knowing that you want to update the game beyond release, post-release is beyond amazing. Yeah. We are doing this because the original release was very buggy, and so this is kind of a gift to fans, which is why it's free on PC and PS4. Is there a way to add Arabic language to the game if possible? We could. I mean, we'll discuss it over here. I don't think we've actually gotten a lot of people asking for Arabic language translations. But if we get a lot, then maybe we'll consider it. We are looking into more languages, though. I can't really announce anything yet here. So but we are looking into other languages. With the addition of new weapons, already existing weapons, let me restart that sentence. Basically, he's asking, they are asking if there's going to be changes to the current weapons in the game, and the answer is yes. There's a couple of changes. Most of them are quality of life improvements. There's some like hitbox improvements, and just a few ability animations have been tweaked here and there. I mean, the input buffering for all weapons has been massively improved. You know, the overall feel of combat has been improved, and so I would look forward to that. I don't think a lot of weapons have changed a lot. I think there's a few that got some big changes. Like I think the Great Hammer now scales with vitality, and you don't get. I think you would get like a hyper armor thing with the Great Hammer. Maybe it doesn't happen anymore, but point is, the Great Hammer changed a little bit. Yeah, you don't have hyper armor with the Great Hammer, and its vitality scaling now. Great Sword, I think, got the fire ability for the Great Sword changed quite a bit. If you play the beta, you might be able to try it out. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe I can even show it right here. I don't know if I have all the abilities. I don't. But yeah, you can check that out in the beta. I think that's still open. I mean, if you have access to the beta, you can still play it. We might need to put that out as a demo, honestly, eventually. Will the addition... will the DLC have more hours than the original game? It depends what you consider DLC. I mean, we revamped the entire original areas, with the exception of Gaine's Cradle, which has remained mostly the same. It does have like access to new areas. Like from Gaine's Cradle, you can actually access 2 new levels, but for the most part, all the original areas have like new enemy placements, sometimes even new enemies, new item placements. And so I would say that the DLC has about as much content as the original game, if that makes sense. In terms of new areas, I don't know how long it takes to beat them. I know that 6 of those areas are pretty big, and 4 of those are smaller. But each one of those areas, depending how much you die, I'm guessing they could be 30 minutes to an hour. The big ones, and the smaller ones are probably like 30 minutes. It just depends, because a lot of those have like optional little secrets that could take you a little bit of time to find, or you may die a lot. So it's hard to tell, honestly, at this point. I think the how long to beat for this game is like 10 hours. How long to beat is like a website where you can check like how long games are to beat. And I think it's 10 hours for the original game, and I can beat the original game in like 4 hours. So it's hard for me to predict. But if I were to predict, it would probably be like maybe 6 hours longer or something like that. Maybe. I don't know. It also depends if you do the heroic bosses. I mean, if you do the heroics, man, who knows? It could take forever. I don't know. We have some pretty hard new heroic bosses, so yeah. Will there be new stuff after the ending? Or how many endings are there? There are new endings. How many new endings are there? I don't know if I should say. I mean, it's spoilers, but there's quite a few. There's more than 2. Have you changed the bosses a bit besides the ones you mentioned? Yes. I know for God and Gaia, I don't think we mentioned a lot. And Eldritch Council got some changes too. Some just mostly quality of life improvements. I think Eldritch Council Heroic changed a little bit too. We wanted to make it a little bit less DPS race-y, a little bit. So yeah, it's just gonna be a little bit. Sorry, I'm just reading messages. I'm getting a little bit distracted. So I just see someone who says he's Giancarlo from Mata Salvatore's. That's crazy. So someone from my elementary school is here saying hi to me. Hey dude, that's insane. I'll message you on Facebook. Thanks for stopping by. That's amazing. All right. Will there be more armors available? I mean, yes. So, I mean, there's the original game has what I would call Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3. Tier 3 being what you get from like the best or strongest heroic bosses. And now we have like a Tier 4 and a Tier 5. The Tier 4 you can get from beating the new heroic bosses, and or there's a few ways to get them in the world. I think the boots you get from finding golden carrots hidden throughout the world. I think the cape you have to buy for like an insane amount of souls. And the helm, I think, is crafted through the new crafting system. And then Tier 5 is just insanely hard to get, and you basically have to craft it through multiple New Game Pluses. So there you go. You can start preparing for that, I guess. I guess, let's see. Next question. Will more content happen with the fear stat in our playthroughs? So there is the fear stat has actually evolved into something a little bit different. If you play the beta, you'll actually realize that it has changed to will. I won't explain how it works. Hopefully people will figure it out. But there's a few cool things that change based on that stat. And I'll just let you guys figure it out, because it would be pretty insane spoilers. Is the addition more difficult than the original game? Because that would be good. I mean, certain things are harder. Certain things are, I guess, I don't know, easier. I don't know. I know. So we have like 2 new areas early into the game. One of them is Sky Tomb, for example. And in that area, I would say it's about as easy as the beginning of the game, and that's fine. But then some of like the extra stuff past the original ending of the game is like really, really hard. So yeah, we have a little bit for everyone. Yeah. Look forward to that. Hopefully, if you like some of the harder content, which I really do, I mean, the heroic bosses are some of my favorite parts of making and playing this game. I know a lot of people feel very, I guess the heroic bosses are very divisive. Some people love them and some people don't. But that's the cool thing. You don't have to do them. They're optional. So yeah. Any donation, PayPal. We will have ways to support us very, very, very soon. I think we'll do also some a way to donate to us if you really want to. But we'll have cool stuff that you can support us with. Actually, I should drink some water. Just drinking from my hydro flask. All right. Is the update still coming out this year? Yes, it's coming out 2021. As I said earlier, we've said multiple times it's coming 2021. That's still the plan. And it's coming out PC, PS4, and PC. I mean, Switch, PS4, and PC. Switch is first, and then a month later, PS4, and then a month later. Sorry. Wow. PC, Steam, then PC, then PS4. Oh my God. I'm getting this all confused. There's just too much stuff going on. Will we get to try the game before its release? You can. I mean, if you have access to the beta. I really think we should just give everyone access to the beta just right now. I guess we'll see. We'll see the logistics of it. We'll discuss it over here. It's just like a small little demo. So we'll go through that. Yeah. Next question. Yeah, okay, the next one's about release. Again, guys, if you just connect the dots from everything I've said, you can get a pretty good window. You can kind of assess where the game's going to release. I mean, it's September at this point almost. There's like 2 days left in August. So like, how much from today? Like, if you say there's 2 months between the Steam and PS4 release, how long do we have, of runtime? Like, you can kind of get an assessment of where the game would come out. That said, even ourselves, we don't know, because we just don't want to, like, yeah. I'm gonna shut up. All right. Has Heroic Endless been tweaked in any way? She honestly hasn't. Why did you all choose to port this game to Switch? Because Switch is really good for Metroidvanias. We just think it's a really good console for this type of game. And also, I just love the Switch. I love Nintendo, so yeah. Let's see. You said that the edition will be downloaded in the summer of 2021, and the summer of 2021 approximately will end in 22nd of the month of 9. That's confusing. I don't know what you're supposed to be saying. I hope the squids will have been added to all the heroics. I hope so too. They'll make everything really, really fun. Is there going to be a box where you can store your items like in Dark Souls? No, there isn't. I mean, the reason why there's like a disenchanting system is that we want players to just scrap every item that they don't want to use. So if you're full in your inventory, you should just scrap a bunch of useless stuff that you have in your inventory, and then upgrade your items. Give us access to the beta, please. Yeah, we'll discuss it. Let's see. Well, release on the 3rd anniversary is out of the question. Yeah, it is, because it already happened. I have a suggestion if you don't have a problem. To add team play. I mean, so we, internally we've discussed, adding the ability to mod the game or like, or just release the source code. I don't know how viable that would be, but I think it would be really cool. So I don't know. We'll discuss it after, it's released. But it would be cool if people got to mod this game. I think, I would not be opposed to it. It's more about figuring out the logistics. I'm gonna start going and heading to the Phoenix Rider while I answer some questions. This is all stuff in the beta, so I'm not really showing off anything insanely new. If you've played the beta, you've seen this stuff before. All right, so how much new music is in the game? There's a lot. I think there's probably like 12 new tracks or something like that. Honestly, maybe a little bit more because there's a lot of like small little tracks here and there for certain cutscenes. Yeah, I'm incredibly excited for some of our new boss tracks. One of them was shown off in the trailer, and that one I'm insanely proud of. Like beyond anything, I love that track. And I also love the one for the Afterlife level, which we revealed on our trailer. I think we've posted the Afterlife track somewhere before, but it's amazing. What has been your favorite moment thing while developing That's Gambit? Honestly, getting to watch people play the game. And I think some of our favorite moments are going to come up when people play Afterlife, because there's a few moments that I'm really excited to see people play through. I'm curious what people will think. Are there more auras besides the ones we already know? Yes. There's new auras. A lot of them are pretty good. I think in the original game there was only like a couple that you'd want to like use in the end game, but now you'll have a lot of choices, I think, in the end game. So yeah, I look forward to that. Well, you need the original That's Gambit game to play the expansion. Yeah, I mean, so the way it's gonna work, I think, is we're gonna just update. So on Steam. So we've been discussing this recently. I think we're just gonna update the game on Steam and on PS4, and then when you download the update, you're just gonna be playing Afterlife. On that also brings up the question, and I'm sure it's coming up, and we've been asked this before. Are you gonna be able to play the original game after this? And the answer is we want players to be able to play the original game in some form. I know the easiest place for that will be PC. I don't honestly think that will give players an option to play the original game on Switch. But on PC, I think we already have a plan. We have a pretty good, solid plan for how that's going to work. Stay tuned. But yeah, I just don't want to say anything, any specifics, but I'm pretty sure I know how it's going to work. But yeah, you just download the update and you play at Afterlife. Has more stuff been added to the White Room? Maybe. Since there will be multiple endings, is there anything like a true ending in this game? Yeah. There's a lot of, I mean, it's tough because I think it'll be up to you to kind of, decide what ending you think is the true ending, but there is an ending that I consider personally the true ending. Did the Guy and Slayer track make it into the final release? Yes, it did. I know someone at some point on the Discord mentioned, hey, the Guy and Slayer track is not in the game at all, which is kind of a crime because it's absolutely amazing. So yes, it is in the game now. It's in a pretty important moment. The best is streamers voicing the Lumberkin. Well, the Lumberkin have voices now. Well, not human voices. They just make sounds. I imagine developing the Small Knight was incredibly fun. I don't know who you're talking about, but maybe the Dark Knight? Yeah. So I'm going to play a little bit while people send me some more questions. What if you make the original game a free DLC on PS4? We'll see. Again, PS4 is tricky. We're still figuring that out at the moment. But we definitely want to find a way for people to just play the original game if they really want to. Did you disclose on how to get weapons past +10 on the current version? I think so. Oh, great. It would be to both of our benefit. I was not paying attention. I was trying to answer questions. So yes, I'm pretty sure we mentioned it before. You just have to use the original upgrade system, and then when you have a weapon past +10, you'll need dark matter, which is an item you get later in the game. But you'll need to use dark matter to upgrade your weapons past +10 to +12. So that's how it works. You'll need to just find those upgrade items. You can also get +11 and +12 through beating Imulvero. Correct. Heroic Imulvero can give you those if you have like the mini boss debuffs from the mini bosses before you fight them. It actually took players about 2 years to figure out that was a feature. So feeling pretty proud about that secret. Maybe it was too secret. I don't know. I'm gonna fight the Phoenix Rider. Oh, they dropped a weapon. Someone just said, wait, so is the original getting a massive makeover so different than the original? What do you dream of becoming? I'm just gonna skip through this cutscene. Can't even get to the Phoenix Rider without answering questions. I'm gonna have to focus to actually get there. So yeah, the original game is getting a complete makeover. Yeah. I mean, if you're watching this right now, you can already tell that it's pretty different already. For example, reaching the Phoenix Rider boss and reaching the Bulwark boss now have like a level before you get to those bosses. Originally, you would just fight those bosses pretty quickly after reaching the Central Sanctuary. All right, I'm gonna actually focus now feel free to answer a few or send me a few more questions. I'm just gonna focus so I don't keep dying and seem like a game journalist, I guess. I'm very excited to see what IGN has to say about Death's Gambit this time around. Death's Gambit, hilarious. I mean, IGN hilariously gave us a pretty lame review where they compared our game to Symphony of the Night, where we weren't actually inspired by Symphony of the Night. And that review actually has like about a half full dislike bar. Yeah, they didn't mention anything. They pretty much gave us a review that almost felt like they didn't play the game. And I kind of assumed they didn't. But yeah, anyways, there's some new enemies right here. All right. All right. There's no more questions. I will just continue this. I'm gonna fight the Phoenix Rider. I'm gonna use some of the new bear traps. I'm gonna just kind of prepare in advance. Good tip, you can actually throw those bear traps while in the air. Also, I'm a little bit strong in terms of damage, in case you're wondering why she has so little HP. So I think this is, I actually don't think we changed the HP on the Phoenix Rider. So now that I think about it, it's probably correct. Also, I'm playing keyboard only right now. At the start of the game, you actually get to choose whether you want to play with a mouse or not now, which I think is a nice choice. All right. And yeah, there's perfect blocking. For those people who haven't seen the beta, if you block at the right time, you can now like perfect block an enemy and retaliate right after, which is like a very Sekiro-inspired mechanic. All right, I'll answer a few more questions. What's your favorite new weapon ability in the expansion? My favorite weapon, maybe the Amovro Spellblade or the Skull Axe. Yeah, I think the Amovro Spellblade is cool because it like gives you a buff that has like a different element every time, and you have to like it basically incentivizes changing up what elemental ability you use. So it's kind of cool. It also makes meteors rain from the sky, which is pretty cool. Will there be more changes in story and dialogue when doing a Mortal run? I think there are some changes. It's not a lot, but I think there's a pretty good low reason as to why. And yeah, you'll see soon. So yeah, I think that pretty much concludes the Q&A. I will say there is we will have a lot of cool news coming soon, TM. So please look at or I guess pay attention to our Twitter and our Discord and stuff. And I also, this is not where the stream is going to end. I'm going to show a little bit more. Rip, my questions got skipped out a lot. Sorry that I skipped your question. Feel free to post it again. Sorry. And I'll answer it. Are there any new side quests like Sigurd's Ritual? Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of new side stuff. You know, there's a lot of optional content. I think part of our goal with this expansion was to add a lot of new optional hidden areas. And so honestly, one of my fears is that players will just play the game and try to, speed run to the end and miss out on a lot of stuff, honestly. If you do so, you can honestly get one of the new endings without seeing a lot, and you might be confused and you might be like, oh, is that it? But the reality is there's a lot of content in this expansion. You just have to go ahead and search the world and find it. I would say this is an expansion that really rewards exploration. So don't just, hurry to the end when you try the expansion. I really suggest exploring the world everywhere again, and you'll find a lot of cool stuff. Is that weapon inspired by a crucifix of the Mad King from Dark Souls 3? No. I don't think so. There's this bug a few people have, including me, where the game freezes after exiting that statues. That has been fixed. I think it has to do with later in the game, save files kind of get bloated. And we've improved that quite a bit. And so it doesn't take a lot of time. If you load your game, when you first load your game on Steam, it's actually, if you have a save file that has like a lot of, if you're like a New Game Plus, but if it has a lot of like save content in it, it may lag a little bit on your first load, but after it loads the first time, it'll like fix that bug. So yeah, that is fixed. Are the team planning to do some other game? Yes. I have a lot of surprises coming this year. I have a lot of surprises. I don't know. I wouldn't say it's like a new game or anything. I don't want to really specify anything, but expect the unexpected. There's a lot of really cool stuff that we've been working on behind the scenes. And I'm just kind of dying to show you guys more stuff. It's just been tough. And honestly been tough to work on so much stuff that's kind of hidden behind NDA and you just can't say anything. It's just like, you just have to like contain it all. And it's very, very tough, but, once everything happens, it'll happen and it'll be glorious and it'll be amazing and it'll be super exciting. I'm very excited. I just can't wait. I'm like dying on the inside. I just want it to happen. So anyways, let's see. Can I join Thalamus? He was cooler than Death. Maybe. I don't know. That would honestly be spoilers. If I were to answer that question, honestly. What about the release date for Nintendo Switch? Sorry. As I said, you can connect the dots and sort of make an assumption as to what the window for release is for this game. Is the update any more noob friendly? There are quite a few things that are more noob friendly, especially at the beginning of the game. The stamina system's is a little bit more forgiving. One of the first talent you get actually in the game now is one that makes it so whenever you use an ability, your stamina regenerates instantly. And overall, it's just a little bit more forgiving. I kind of looked at how Silent Sanctuary handles its stamina and a few other Souls-likes, and I just realized that we were being a little bit too unforgiving with our stamina. So yeah, there's a few things that are more noob friendly, but I would say by the end of the game, things get potentially even harder than the original game. I just think hopefully players. I think one of the big unfriendly things was that, or one of the big things that would push people away was that once you would get to the hub, some people would go to like the Dark Knight boss first, or they would go to Mulvero first, and they would get wrecked. And we changed the world structure a little bit, and we feel like it's a little bit smarter. Will there be more updates to the game after the DLC? I wish I could answer that. I mean, we definitely will be patching the game. I want to add more stuff after release. I guess we'll see. My friend was wondering how many developers do you have working on the game? Right now, I think we're 4. But we get a lot of assistance from our publisher. We get a lot of assistance from our composer, from other friends. So, it's 4 people full time, but at times it fluctuates. Originally, we had to bring in a lot of animators, and now all the animations are done. So So the team is smaller. I think at a certain point we were 10 people full time, but now it's just 4. And it's been that way for a while. Lumberkins, question mark. There's a lot more Lumberkin content in this expansion. I love them. The fans love them. So there's more of that. My friend was wondering. Oh no, I already answered that question. What you're saying is expect Death's Gambit dating sim. Don't expect that. I mean, I wish we had the budget to go all out and make a Death's Gambit dating sim. We'll see. If Death's Gambit does really well, we'll do one. I'm really looking forward to this. Take all the time you guys need to make this thing best as possible. Thank you. We definitely have. And the game is good now. Now it's time to get this game in your hands. So look forward to that. Dates Gambit. Since you can't tell us the release date, can you tell us when the release date will be announced? Soon. Look, it's coming soon. I think, yeah. Yes, more Lumberkins in all caps. Yes. This is my big winter 2021 game. Mostly going in blind. Will it still have a good time? Absolutely. I mean, I've told a few players, if you're coming to play the game now, at this point, maybe wait, honestly. Maybe wait to play the expansion because it's so dramatically bigger and improved, At this point, we as developers find it very tough to watch videos of the original game because we just feel like it's improved so much and we think it's such an amazing game. So, yeah, you're going to have a good time. You mentioned people are going straight to Dark Knight. Some people really like the freedom of adventure. Yeah. I know. I love that. Is that ability to explore where you should go somewhere you shouldn't that still exists? Or does it prevent noobs from getting wrecked drastically? We kind of have a happy medium. I mean, you can, once you get the crash down ability, you can go to the Dark Knight. I mean, if you know how to get to the harder areas early, you can. But if you're a noob, it's going to be pretty hard to mess up your playthrough. We originally were inspired by the original Dark Souls 1 setup where you could go to New Londo and just get wrecked right away. And that I honestly think we did it wrong. Because the way New Londo is set up is the enemies are literally invincible. So players go there and they're like, okay, I really shouldn't go here. But in Death's Gambit, you could go to Mulrose Tower and Dark Knight and you could kind of beat them. And so therefore players would still smash their ways or want to like smash their head against it. Which was, I think, it should have been harder. It should have been even harder. So players were more deterred to not go that direction. But whatever. I mean, I think our current solution works. Are there more Doppelsurans? That's pretty good. That's a pretty good name. Scattered throughout the game. Yes, you'll fight a few more Soren clones throughout the game. They all have different weapons, and they all give whatever weapon they are holding, and an ability. So yeah, they're actually really smart AI. I feel like we actually made them way smarter than they should be. They'll actually block your attacks, dodge them at the right time, and even slide to shield break you. So they're pretty strong. Will we have more hilarious interactions with Death? Yes. Out of curiosity, he has some of the best interactions we've seen. I've seen for commentary when player dies. Yeah. No. I mean, we have a lot of more silly, hilarious death, I guess, cutscenes. So look forward to that. All right. Thanks for all the amazing questions, everybody. I can't wait for you guys to play this. I'm just super hyped. So I can't wait as much as you guys can't wait, really. Have we updated Kusa? Yes, we have. I think we've talked about this quite a bit. I mean, he's no longer a DPS race. He's got a bunch of new animations. You kind of have to dodge his head heave attack, and you have to dodge his stomps. He'll do some lightning breath attacks that require you to use the double jump, and he also has an attack that you have to use crash down for. yeah, he forces you to use your new Metroidvania upgrades quite a bit. I'm really happy with how it turned out. Netflix adaptation. If they reach out, we'll see. We'll, if they pitch us a good script, we'll take it. Whose idea was it to add Death playing the game of life in Guard of Tomb? Death playing. He plays. What's that game? It's called Passage. That was my idea. At a certain point, I think the original script of Death's Gambit had Death playing Passage and as the first scene of the game, but it was ridiculous. And a lot of my ideas are so out there. They're very. I would say they're as out there as the general Kojima plot twist. And so I just try to come up with all sorts of crazy stuff. But that didn't make it because it was a little bit too out there. But it did make it to Guard of Tomb. I did want it to be in the game in some form. So this area is not in the beta. This is after you beat the Phoenix Rider. I wanted to just play a little bit more before I end the stream, because you guys know me. In my previous streams, I usually show something cool at the end, something exciting, something new. So I'm going to show a little bit of Sky Tomb. This is the next area after you beat the Phoenix Rider in Afterlife. So yeah, feel free to enjoy Sky Tomb. I'm just going to play a little bit. Not going to spoil too much. Let's go. And then we'll end the stream. What? Are those? There's a Mulvero. What is happening right now? What? This is not planned at all. What is happening right now? I don't even have my hands on the keyboard. So don't. This is pretty cool and pretty scary. Maybe someone from the team is playing a prank on me. I'm gonna turn off the game before we spoil something. Someone's knocking on the door. I'll be right back. This is terrifying.